Redditors that worked with a dating company, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, etc. What's the most insane user stat or behind the scenes fact you found out about? My ex-BF worked for the Yahoo Italy dating site back in the early-ish 2000s. His job was to pretend to be a woman and message male customers just as their accounts were going to expire. This would encourage them to pay to renew their subscriptions. Once they renewed, he would ghost them. He only lasted for a few months due to how unethical it was. I used to work at Bumble, although this was about 4 to 5 years ago. Globally, about 90% of the users are men, so there is a huge male to female disparity, although it's not that bad on a per country basis for some countries. The most depressing stat though was the histogram of word count in messages. Something like 91% of opening messages were just one word hey, and 85% of conversations were just one exchange long, hey no reply ever. Looking at human, digital mating habits splayed out in data science form was really depressing. I ran operations for an online dating company, notably not affiliated with Match. From database analytics I can tell you a few things. Men initiate contact around 80% of the time in straight matchmaking, and if you are a woman looking to date other women and you simply initiate contact with another woman, you have a good chance of success simply because it's very common for women to match, but then neither initiates contact. We were able to determine that it takes on average about 3 dates before sex happens. I don't recall how we worked that out. I'm not a data analyst, but presumably it was some keyword-based algorithm looking at chat messages. We got so many requests for information from the police that we had an informal system with them to save them from wasting time getting warrants for information about people who we didn't have data on. They would ask about a particular name/email/whatever other identifier and we would just say yes we have data about them or no we don't, and if we did they'd then go get the warrant to get a copy of it. The other thing I can tell you from our analytics that really shouldn't be at all surprising is to get some decent profile photos. Go get your talented friend or just hire a photographer to take some really nicely lit well composed photos of yourself and watch your match rate soar. I would love to know how openly cynical the algorithm really is. My feed on Hinge shows absolutely no one I'm interested in, and suddenly the roses feature pops up. I'm interested in all the people in the roses section. But, oh, it's £4 to buy one rose, which is no guarantee of a match, much less a date. They want to keep you using the app and spending money for as long as possible, and their slogan designed to be deleted is such BS it's comical. And you can't turn to other apps because they are all owned by the same corporation. I would love to know how openly cynical the algorithm really is. My feed on Hinge shows absolutely no one I'm interested in, and suddenly the roses feature pops up. I'm interested in all the people in the roses section. But, oh, it's £4 to buy one rose, which is no guarantee of a match, much less a date. They want to keep you using the app and spending money for as long as possible, and their slogan designed to be deleted is such BS it's comical. And you can't turn to other apps because they are all owned by the same corporation. This was years ago now, but I used to work with a guy who had been an engineer for Match.com. He said 99% of the profiles were inactive, and that 80% of the active profiles were men. He didn't provide numbers, but also said there was a huge disparity between the average number of messages sent to women versus those sent to men. According to him, all told the site was mostly men reaching out to dead profiles and never getting responses. As I said, however, this was years ago, so it's entirely possible that they've cleaned the site up since then. Not been working, but a friend wrote her master thesis about the different criteria in online dating and real life. Almost half, 43%, the female participants who were in a relationship told they'd never have swiped right on their current partner. Other interesting results were that over 60% of men they wrote with on apps and agreed to go on a date would have no chance if they asked in real life. I never worked at OkCupid, but years ago I reported a few profiles and then they made me a mod. There were more fake or scam profiles than dick pics. We think some profiles were reported just because someone didn't like how they acted, but once you start image searching, you would typically find that those profiles are fake or belong to real people that are definitely not on a dating site. There were a bunch of accurate and proven catfish reports and a lot of cute pets. Pictures have to be of you, not your dog, and we would comment for the other mod's cute dog but breaks rules. Also Google the image of the dog and sometimes find out that it's someone else's dog. A couple met on the dating app I worked on. Unfortunately, the man passed away and the lady returned to the app where they met for remembrance. One day, a bug in the system made some profile likes to be sent again after months and she received one from her deceased boyfriend. Her bug report was heartbreaking. I used to moderate OkCupid. The amount of unsolicited dick pictures men would send women, not even accompanied by any words, was horrifying. I mean, you'd expect it, because online dating is a cesspit, but the sheer amount would still surprise you. I had to look at each reported picture and say yes, that's a penis. This is probably going to get buried. I used to work for Shag.co.uk as a content creator. And by that I mean it was me who replied to messages from users. I used to get paid between 11p and 18p per message, with bonuses for hitting certain message amounts. It was mostly horny guys who just wanted to chat and get off, but I met some interesting people. 1. A 60s guy whose wife had died a few weeks prior, hadn't had sex in years, needed a release. Spoke at length of how he had picked me because I looked like his dead wife in her prime. 2. A guy who was in his 80s who was an ex-porn star. Sent multiple links to his videos and such. We spoke at length regarding his trips to Africa and all the charity work he'd done. 3. A lot of obvious pedophiles, rapists, etc. It was pretty scary what people would admit to with enough pushing. 4. A lot of guys who would agree to whatever weird fetish I dreamed up on that day. Horny people be horny. It all came to an end for me when a guy told me his dad had died that morning and he wouldn't be around for a while. I got reviewed for my reply, which was, "I'm really sorry for your loss. If you need to talk, I'll be here for you." They suggested that I should have replied, "Do you not care about me? I have needs too." Just realized that the site owners really just didn't give a shit at all. There was a post about 1 to 2 months ago on Subreddit, dating_advice, which explained the best way to use Tinder to your benefits. It was something like, don't like everybody, also don't like girls who put their Instagram in profiles, because most of the time they won't respond to you, and they just won't follow. Instead focus on girls who have nice bio, and over time 1, 2, 3 weeks algorithm is gonna learn you, and it's gonna match you with potential candidate. At first you might have 1 to 2 matches, but over time you gonna get more and more. Most of the people give up after 4 days. There isn't enough time for algorithms to learn you. I used to work at a dating site in the UK. I was on the tech side, but most of the staff was a group of young women who manually approved images and text changes to profiles. There was about 10 to 15 of them, and the turnover rate was about 1 a week. The work was just so mind-numbing. About 10 times a day they'd shout that they'd got another one, which basically meant one of the hundreds of thousands of men on the site has differently thought I've thought of something nobody else has tried. I'll upload a picture of my cock, at which point they'd all laugh at it, cancel the profile upload, and go back to reading about people's choice of pets, or whatever else they thought was interesting. So back before online dating, I worked at one of the telephone dating companies. Voicemails, live chat, stuff like that. They are all out of biz now. Lots of interesting tidbits. The people who make the ads for those services are just regular people. Moms, little old ladies, was rarely men as you'd think. Only men paid to chat or send messages. Didn't matter if you were gay or straight. Women were totally free. One of the services was created by a gay fellow who wanted to meet dudes. So he reviewed all the profiles for the best guys. The people who recorded the prompts were just regular office people, not professionals. I recorded a set one time and some dude called up asking if he could meet me cause he liked my voice. No homo. We used to regularly review ads posted by customers to prevent prostitution ads or overly explicit public stuff. One time a guy recorded his public ad. "Hi, I'm Chuck, and I have a pickup truck. If you wanna fuck in my truck, call Chuck." I forget the source, but I remember hearing one of the sites come out with data that suggested that women were way more picky than men. Men would typically be attracted to about half the women they saw, whereas women were only attracted to about 10% of men. There was also some stuff on certain sexes and ethnicities getting more attention, but I don't want to get too much into that one. Just Google if you are curious. Many apps seed attractive bots to keep people engaged. The bots will send/respond to a couple of substandard questions. How was your week? What are you looking for? Then ghost. Despite the ghost, the hive matching with a super attractive person that spoke to you is enough to get many people hooked and chasing the dragon. I have a theory, unproven, I work on the comms side not engineering, that these bots created ghosting culture. The bots just abruptly stopped chatting, which isn't how normal actual human ends a conversation, but people became so used to it happening to them, they started doing it to others. Learned behavior. Managed and worked on a short-term personal security detail for one of the C-listers of one of these in LA. Not mentioning by name BC, I'm not trying to get doxxed, but there is a huge problem with people getting stealth W/HIV and other venereal diseases, as well as being mugged or robbed while fucking about on these apps, and the victims will threaten to lash out at the company violently, or even show up at the offices demanding to speak to someone in charge, while in the initial anger stage despite the company having no personal hand in the situation beyond arranging the medium for which to meet. Apparently the company can't even send out a warning about the suspected user, who is accused of stealthing to law or public health due to counsel advising that it's slander with anything less than bona fide evidence of that person being positive for the disease/committing a crime against the other and or that person meeting the other and or having intercourse. The companies do cooperate with law enforcement on a case-by-case basis, but they do have the right to clam up and wait for a subpoena before they share user info/chat logs, etc. Meanwhile, there are multiple people who have been robbed of thousands of dollars, given a disease, and many more victims waiting to be had while the company sits on its ass and lets the complaints pile up. Even then, it's a whole messy area where it's cheaper to not even get involved. Even banning the user from the service involves some amount of steps. I don't blame the victims for being livid, but what a whole ass fucking mess. Got a few still images of the people we were keeping an eye out for, and they looked like completely normal guys and girls who just got pushed to their breaking point. All BC they trusted someone from a dating app. Could happen to anyone, honestly. I worked as a software engineer for a dating site in the mid-2000s. Literally every single female profile was fake. They were generated profiles using arbitrary data and paid for lewd photos from various sources. The sites we ran targeted guys paying for the site. Meanwhile, if you signed up as a female, the site would be free, simply because the ratio guys to real girls was so huge. The fake female profiles would also message newly signed up guys' profiles almost straight away, giving the guys a confidence boost. They'd often message straight back, then after a few messages, which purposely got more heated, over a few different profiles, the guy's account would get a notification saying to pay to send more messages. If the guy's profile didn't pay, the site would continue to send messages from different fake profiles, all of which were behind a paywall, in order to see more photos or apply at all. The refund policy was super short, so if and by the time the guy's profile realized he was just chatting to AI profiles, he'd request a refund, but often denied due to refund policy being short that he agreed to at sign up. By the time a given site was commonly known as being a scam, we'd spin up another site, different name, logo and design, and repeat the process. This went on for months/years with hundreds of sites under various names. TL. Doctor, it was toxic as hell. Hated it. Glad I quit. In April of this year I was reeling from losing both of my jobs, having to stop doing my own business. I work security at 2 bars, book hardcore/metal/hip hop/drag and comedy shows, and being left by my partner of a year and a half in January. I was circling the drain really hard, had picked an old habit of shooting heroin and cocaine back up, and essentially was just waiting to die. I had actively tried to kill myself with an intentional overdose on my birthday on the 8th, and was finally back in my head enough by the 12th to reason with myself that I'd rather get some before I died. This girl I'd seen around my small city a handful of times super liked me and was at my house within an hour. We haven't been apart for more than a night since. We have a little apartment together with our dogs and I haven't touched heroin since then. She said she 100% would have never approached me in real life because I'm too unapproachable. I have tattoos on my face in a small community where that is not the norm. Being a loud Florida man in the PNW is difficult, and I had seen her in real life and felt way too unfuckable and dejected to shoot my shot at her that way. Sometimes Tinder is the only way you can both forget how insecure you are / how much you don't like yourself for a second, and I think that allows it to facilitate a lot of stuff that couldn't happen in person. My other interesting take from apps is that as a non-binary person who wears a lot of girls' clothes and makeup day to day and also does drag, at least 50% of straight dudes are flexible on that in some way / have no problem hitting up someone who's obviously got a dick if they present in a predominantly feminine way. I legit have had the milder versions of this exp too. One of the stories, matched with someone, exchanged numbers, then he called me every time I didn't reply within minimums to his texts, even when I said I was driving, eating, working, exercising, or taking a shower. I was out with my friends that night and had guy friends answer his calls many times, then he stopped calling that night. I was still spammed with texts asking what I was up to, what I was doing etc the next morning, so I just blocked him. I saw my phone log. He called, missed calls, me over 100x. I still can't believe I tolerated that for 3 days. I legit have had the milder versions of this exp too. One of the stories, matched with someone, exchanged numbers, then he called me every time I didn't reply within minimums to his texts, even when I said I was driving, eating, working, exercising, or taking a shower. I was out with my friends that night and had guy friends answer his calls many times, then he stopped calling that night. I was still spammed with texts asking what I was up to, what I was doing etc the next morning, so I just blocked him. I saw my phone log. He called, missed calls, me over 100x. I still can't believe I tolerated that for 3 days. I did a study on how dating app usage affects someone's narcissistic tendencies, whether adaptive or maladaptive. I found out that someone with a more pathological form of narcissism, maladaptive, is more socially and emotionally impaired when they aren't getting the results they desire. Since narcissism runs on a continuum from grandiose to vulnerable, this shows how damaging this can be for anyone expressing these tendencies. Most people know about grandiose narcissism, but many don't know about the other side of narcissism, which is the vulnerable side. The best way I can describe these people is that they are the ones who look for someone to idolize and will do anything for that person. Since they are looking to fulfill a sense of self they are missing, they look to others for that purpose, hence the idolizing. Dating app usage is extremely dangerous for these people because they spend hours searching for someone, and when they don't match with them, it causes a narcissistic injury. You find anyone from these companies that will reveal anything crazy, but what people should know is that dating sites / apps are legit 80% men. So unless you are devilishly handsome or have something else to compensate for a lack of looks, you're just not gonna get anywhere. Imagine there's 100 people on a dating app, 80 men and 20 women. In reality, maybe 5 to 7 of those women are worth pursuing, because obviously not every woman is attractive. You are competing with 79 other dudes for 5 to 7 women. Your chances are slim to none, assuming you're even average. So long story short, you're 1000x better off flirting and getting numbers IRL as opposed to being another card in the deck on some mediocre app. Semi-dating app moderator. There's a few social media sites like Facebook in this country, and I had to moderate one less well known. This site was mostly used by adults / elderly and almost abandoned by youth, since there's a way better site for the same needs this one provides. So to say, I was a backdoor moderator who would check up on different things, starting with uploaded pictures / videos, groups, certain accounts, and ending with any flagged stuff. I felt really sorry for way too frequent sexism and women abuse on that site. In short, all I've seen is that men, mostly of certain age and nationality, were messaging women they liked and straight away asked for sex. This happened all day all the time in extremely huge amounts. Keep in mind, this site is a niche and I could only imagine what is actually happening behind curtains in more popular social media sites. I've seen some crazy ass shit there. The world is fucked. Just need to deal with it and keep living.